So this is a question that just popped in my head. Well, two questions. First, why aren't more people talking about this, right? Like, why aren't people with people that has disabilities, right? Maybe are they afraid to like share that they have certain disabilities and talk about it? Do they go through the websites, kind of like having a difficult time going through them? And then, actually, I forgot the second question. So let's just go with that one.
Yeah.
And like, okay.
well, I mean, a lot of people, that that need this, they tend to they use the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, part of the government in the U.S. They use them as a helper in order to, help them with their cause. So pretty much the ADA was started back in 1990, signed into law by President Bush back then, and it really pertained to the brick and mortar buildings and businesses because, some people in wheelchairs couldn't get into a building because they didn't have ramp access or, there was no parking. And so that's, almost everybody who drives probably knows what a handicap parking space is. Some people ignore the signs and park there anyway. Yeah. But, those are some of the things that the ADA has really advocated for on behalf of people with disabilities. Yeah. And so that's their job. And I think a lot of people with disabilities, if they need help, they go to the ADA to back them up because they're a government agency. And, unfortunately, some of the ways that the ADA has gone about this has really been, spraying businesses with litigation in order to create awareness. And they started with the big guys because back in 2017 was the first ever case that was deemed by a judge against a business. It was Winn-Dixie, and they were ordered to change their website to make it accessible for this one person who brought this lawsuit, against them. And wow. The people that bring the lawsuits, they can't benefit monetarily through the lawsuits, but the ADA and the lawyers do, obviously. So if the company is fined, then the money goes to the ADA and helps fund the ADA. But since then, a lot of larger businesses like Chick-fil-A, Home Depot, Domino's Pizza. Yeah. A lot of the large companies, they got hit right after this. Boom, 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 because the ADA said, okay, we need to make an example of these companies. And then so these large companies who have their own website developers, they went in and said, okay, we got to change it. But you know what they did? They went in, they looked at the standards for ADA compliance and said, okay, let's do the bare minimum. So if you go to, say, a Home Depot or whatever, you may not even notice that it's compliant, but there are certain standards where you have to have certain fonts, a certain size, certain contrast, certain things in order to become bare minimum ADA compliant. Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's accessible to a lot of people that are going to need it. Wow. So, that's where, what I'm doing, we have software that goes even further and gives the ability to dynamically change the website and make it accessible.